Welcome, everybody. Joe Tarnowski with ECRM here, and I have with me today Kim Meckwood, who is the founder of Click and Carry, which makes a whole bunch of products for anybody who carries stuff, which is all of us. So she is a Range Me Premium member, and she just had a very successful recent ECRM program. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about her time on Shark Tank, as well as other cool things that she's doing. So, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. And to start off, give us an overview of your company.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Joe. I'm thrilled to be here. I love ECRM and I love Range Me. And so my product is Click and Carry, which is a simple handle device that helps shoppers to manage and carry multiple bags at once comfortably, either in the hand or better, if you evenly distribute your weight, you put it over your shoulder and your hands free. It carries up to 80 pounds, but it actually carries about 153 pounds until it's stress fracture. So I personally can't carry 153 pounds, so 80 pounds does the job. Your back is a great support system. It feels like half the weight. So I invented Click and Carry for groceries, but the funny thing is, through the years, I found that people use it for other fun reasons. For example, it's used as a ski boot tow or for carrying dry cleaning, paint cans and construction pails. You can walk multiple dogs at once. And the newest and most fun way to use Click and Carry, let me pop my phone out, is once you have it home, you could twist the Click and Carry open, and it's a stand for your phone or your iPad. So all of this I found out by my customers. I invented it for groceries because back in the day, I had this amazing boyfriend. And when I would come home with the groceries, I would call him and say, hey, Matt, come on down and get them. And when we broke up, I had to carry my own groceries. So I knew there had to be a better way. I know, right? I knew there had to be a better way. And I came up with Click and Carry. And I mean, I don't need a boyfriend or a husband. I could do it all by myself, thanks to Click and Carry.
You know, I see a slogan there. That's your catchphrase. I don't need a boyfriend or a husband anymore.
Exactly. Or feminist plot to get the guys to carry in the groceries, because all guys want to carry in the groceries in one quick trip. So you give them a Click and Carry, that's an easy task. So that's the story with Click and Carry. So I've been around for about 7 years, but it's always been a part-time gig until I finally made it onto Shark Tank and ended up getting the exposure that I needed. And last October, I left my job to do Click and Carry full-time. So I'm coming upon a year of full-time Click and Carry, and it's been so exciting and fun. There's nothing like working for yourself. So I love it. And
congratulations on all of that and the Shark Tank. And it's just cool seeing how you've tapped into your customers' ideas and being able to show other applications of it. And I'm sure there's going to be more ideas coming from your customers.
Absolutely. In fact, you're absolutely right. My next 2 inventions are add-ons to the Click and Carry. Mm-hmm. So for example, the Click and Carry would be on one shoulder and there would be a strapping system crossbody. And imagine in your head, the strapping system is attached to a very big blood pressure band. And this would be to help the customer to carry a stand-up paddleboard, a surfboard, a ladder for the construction industry. And then when their shoulder starts to hurt, they just flip it around and wear it on the other shoulder. And the same is true for a smaller version where you can carry skis or any oblong object. And then I have this other attachment. It's more rectangular, and it would enable one to easily carry crossbody a case of water bottles or a case of beer or whatever, and use your hip as a stationary point. So it would make it easier to carry. So it's all about physics and a way to use your body to make things a lot lighter.
Yeah, so you're quickly becoming the expert in carrying things and ergonomics.
Absolutely. That's the goal. Anything for one quick trip. That's my motto.
Yep. Especially, you know what? I'm curious, like during COVID, the height of the pandemic, when people did not want to go into too many stores, that one trip became very, very important.
It was important. And it's funny that you would bring that up, because there was a company I was trying to get for years, and that would be Instacart. And they would listen to my calls, but they were never interested. And I just recently got a call from them, and I asked, I said, well, who is interested in using this? Is it for your customers or is it for your shoppers? And the procurement specialist said, it's actually for our shoppers. We were asked to order click and carries from the operations department. And I told them, I gave them an idea on how they could put their cute little logo on the click and carry. It doesn't have to say click and carry. It could say Instacart and maybe have a QR code. So the shoppers can scan in, have their usual order, the milk, the bread, the cheese, whatever the case may be, and they could just quickly add in some additional items onto the app just by using a QR code and a click and carry. And then the shopper can use the click and carries every time they deliver to that person's home.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. And of course, these can be branded if for the grocers or retailers that want them for their customers too.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So tell me now, when we first met, it was years ago, you just had a prototype. So it's great seeing how far you've come. What gave you the initial idea? Because you mentioned you had to do it by yourself, right, when you broke up. But how did you kind of figure out the design and all that?
That's so funny. I wish I had my original prototypes with me. But I knew that if it was carried over the shoulders, that the back would be the support system instead of just using an extremity. Because if you're using your arm, you're going to feel the entire weight. But if you use your shoulder, it feels like half the weight because of your back. So I knew it had to be something that went over the shoulder. And initially, it was just the bottom. And imagine this without the top. The problem is when you would set the bags down, the bags would pop out. So my next iteration was a 2-piece with a magnet in between. And that would have been lovely. It worked fine. But the problem is, what if, God forbid, someone lost a piece, or worse, if a little kid was hurt? So I knew it had to be one unit. And this is actually patterned after a barrette that I wear in my hair. That is, you click it in and it expands and releases. So I use that as a guide, and I made this with, you can't see here, but there's a male female part. So it clicks in, makes the noise, and that's because the male female part are meeting and it locks it into place. So what you do is you load all the bags in, you click it, they're locked into place. So even if you set it down, nothing's going to pop out. But the funny thing is in the trunk, it's even more magical because usually the girth of the groceries keeps the handle high. So nothing falls out of the bags because the bags are pulled. So
keeps everything in place.
Absolutely. So
I'm guessing your customers are a wide range of people, not just your typical grocery store shoppers, but I saw on your website you have people lugging paint cans. So it could be construction workers. I mean, tell me a little bit about your average click and carry user.
Sure. So the number one user are moms, because a mom can wear her groceries and still have a free hand to hold her baby or hold her toddler's hand. You could actually click it onto the stroller and hang your bags from the side. So moms are number one. I'd say number two are people like me who live in a big city and live in a condo. And just to get up to the front door is kind of like competing in an obstacle course. I mean, you go through elevators, through doors, upstairs. So everyone who lives in an urban building needs to have a click and carry. And then it's great for seniors with dexterity issues because there's a comfy gel grip. So it's great for arthritis or for people who are suffering from various injuries and maybe can't use their hands, or vice versa, who have a hard time with their shoulders, so need to use their hands. There's still a comfy gel grip on the bottom. And then I think that the one that is going to be the newest mover and shaker is going to be the do-it-yourselfers, because those paint can handles really hurt. And people could leave a place like Lowe's, which, by the way, I ended up getting on Lowe's.com. I'm onboarding right now. That's all thanks to ECRM because of a contest that I entered. Instead of just easily carrying out 2 cans of paint, you could carry out 4 now because you could have 2 on each hand. So Lowe's is going to sell a lot more paint because it's a lot easier to carry. And the customer's not going to feel it as much because it's not that painful wire handle that the paint cans come with.
Yeah. Now, what was the Lowe's thing? That was that special thing that we did with Range Me, I believe. Right? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. It was a
um,
Supplier Diversity
yes,
related summit, I believe, but it was specific to Lowe's.
yes, it was like make it make it with Lowe's or something like that. And the winner was able to be mentored by Damon John. I wasn't one of the winners. I was one of the runners up. So I ended up getting on the .com, and hopefully I do well on the .com and eventually land in the stores, because Lowe's needs this in their paint department desperately.
Oh yeah, I've carried paint cans before. Yeah, you carry a couple of those in one hand and it starts digging right in.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're, like you mentioned, you're both a Range Me Premium member, but also you've been to an ECRM session. Tell us a little bit about your experiences on each. You've been on Range Me for a while, right?
I have. I've been on Range Me, I would say maybe 3 or 4 years. It all started when Walmart had a contest. And that's how I originally found Range Me. And I'm so glad that I did. They were looking for different items, and that was a fun little contest for them. And I've been a premium member for the last 3 years. I think it's amazing because once a year I get to submit my product to all of these amazing retailers. But this year, because of COVID, I signed up for my very first virtual trade show with ECRM, and it was an incredible experience. I did all my research because ECRM is incredible, because they supply you with all these how-to videos and what you need to do to prepare, do's and don'ts. So I actually reviewed all of those videos and I read all of the documentation. I made sure I sent in my information ahead of time. I had an amazing associate to work with. Her name was Olivia. And I ended up getting 19 people who wanted to meet with me. And of the 19, 16 actually asked me for samples. And I'll tell you who they are because it was a lot of fun. It was CVS, Meijer, Kroger, Zulily. It was Bed Bath & Beyond, but they introduced me to Bye Bye Baby. It was Lowe's, Walgreens, Southwestern Grocers, True Value, Associated Supermarkets, Harris Teeter, Sam's, KeHE, I don't know if I say that correctly, Sam's Club, and the independent college bookstores, which will be a good one. And then of all of those, I ended up getting a deal with CVS, but it unfortunately didn't go through at the 11th hour. I was replaced by a beauty item, but I'm still in the running next year. My buyer said he would like to promote me again next year. So cross your fingers for me that I have CVS next year. Meijer is doing a 50-store test. I'm just finalizing the paperwork now. I'm going to do a run on Zulily. Bed Bath & Beyond didn't have a need for me yet, but they passed me off to Bye Bye Baby. So I'm onboarding for Bye Bye Baby, which is great because this is a great product for moms. Lowe's, and then Kroger, Kroger's amazing. I'm just on Kroger.com to start. And at this point, they're not allowing advertising. So not a lot of people know to search for click and carry on Kroger. But once advertising's in place, I'll be able to advertise. And I'm thinking that's my vehicle to get into the stores, because that's my dream, is to be in all the Kroger stores. That's my goal, is to be in 6,000 storefronts, and that would knock out a good 3,000.
That's great.
And as a result of that, because it was so successful for me, I actually signed up in January for another virtual trade show. It's Impulse, because my product's an impulse item. It needs to be adjacent to the reusable bags at the checkout. So I signed up for Impulse. So I'll report back and let you know how I do with that one.
No, we'll definitely follow up with you there. And the reason why you were in the Supplier Diversity is because you're a certified women-owned business.
That's right. I'm WBENC. That's another awesome company. So for anyone out there who is a woman-owned business, you need to sign up and work with them, because it's amazing how many doors you get into, it eliminates a lot of steps, because so many of the big retailers need to work with diversity, and WBENC is considered a diverse group.
That's great. And now you mentioned, so you had a lot of success. You were well prepared. And again, thank you for actually digging into all the content that we put together for it, because that's something I always try to tell suppliers all the time. We have all this content there. Use it, consume it, and your meetings will go well. So you're actually proof of that.
Well, thank you. And I have to say, there's one person in particular who is a star, and that would be you. You're in a lot of the videos, and I just think you're so dynamic and fun, and you made it fun to study and prepare for my virtual trade show, and you taught me a lot, so thank you.
Well, my pleasure, and thanks for watching it. I mean, that's, like I said, it's for you guys. I make it for you guys. It's and I hope it's fun and not boring. But the main thing is, our whole goal in doing that is to set you guys up for success for all the suppliers that are taking meetings. So I'm glad to see that it worked. And then also, what about the platform? What do you think of the actual platform itself and the tools?
It was so easy and fun. I was so worried. In fact, I had her cell phone number because I said, what if I mess up? I don't want to miss out on these important retailers. But it was so smooth and easy. Basically, you have a schedule. You're sent a schedule every morning, and you just click in when it's time, and it automatically goes to the next one if you have multiple in a row. One day, I think I had 10 calls. I basically had no time to even go and grab a soda in the refrigerator, but it was awesome. I had 10 minutes with each retailer, and that may sound like a small amount of time. It was just a perfect amount of time for me. I spent the first 5 minutes basically doing a PowerPoint presentation and, of course, showing the pictures from Shark Tank. And that's always a fun conversation starter. And then the rest was pretty much question and answer. And it was just perfect. And then if they had interest in me, we set up a meeting afterwards. And that's how it worked. And I mean, to get 6 retailers from those 19 is just amazing. I feel really lucky.
It is. I mean, you crushed it, because percentage wise, I mean, you have almost a third of your meetings turned into business. And that's rare. That's usually a supplier gets 1 or 2. They're thrilled. But to have 6, especially 6 out of 19, that's amazing. So it goes to show that you were well prepared. And I like what you said about the way you divvied up your presentation. Half of it was a presentation. The rest of it was for Q&A, because that's an important part too. You can't have too many slides.
No, because it bores people. You have to keep people's attention. And that's why I made sure I only had 4 slides. I made sure that they were fun and exciting. And let me back up too. I showed a quick video because I'm on QVC and I have a B-roll. So I showed that 52-second video because that really gives the person an idea of how my product is utilized. So that's all it took. I did the 5 minutes and 5 minutes of Q&A. It was perfect.
Yeah, and you have a very easy to demonstrate product too. Yeah. So it's just that comes in handy. And 10 minutes is good. Like if somebody has one product or one line of products, I always recommend, 10 minutes. You don't need 20 minutes if you have 50 SKUs and you have a lot to go over, maybe. But you have a specific line of products. They're all similar. So you can do it pretty quickly.
Yep, it was perfect. And it keeps their attention because no one's going to be bored in 10 minutes. They're going to pay attention. It was a lot of fun too. I met so many new friends.
Well, you have a lot of energy too. And you do something frequently that I literally just did a video about. Smile. You smile a lot. And that is very helpful too. So you nailed it. So how's your Shark Tank experience? Tell us a little bit about that.
Wow. Well, so turns out I hold the record for the most attempts ever to get on the show. So I don't know if I should be embarrassed or proud, but I wasn't going to give up. It was my goal. I love that show. I think it's such a fantastic show. And I can't think of one bad experience that came from it, except Lori asked me a question and I was so nervous. I was both nervous and excited. She asked me a question and I literally ran out of saliva. So I luckily hit a water bottle off stage, but I completely left stage and went and took a drink. I said, hold on, I'll be right back. And they were hysterical. And I was shocked it didn't make it to air because they couldn't believe that I did that. It's the worst thing you can do is leave the stage. But it was really amazing. All the sharks were nice except for Kevin. I kind of poked fun at him. Yeah, right?
He's not supposed to be nice. Yeah.
He's not. I even poked fun at him. I thought I'd set the stage by telling him my mom told me to tell you to be nice to me. And he wasn't. And then on the way out, I said, thanks for being nice, kinda, because he definitely gave me a hard time, but everybody was wonderful. And it was the best experience. The exposure was incredible. I'm still riding on that wave. Mm-hmm. And then who knew, but as a result of the show, I'm in this group with other people who have been on Shark Tank. And so I banter with these people back and forth. I do it weekly and we learn tips and tricks from one another. So I have a group of camaraderie from all the other Shark Tank participants. And I just feel really lucky that they selected me, and Shark Tank really did a lot for me and for Click and Carry.
That's great. That's great. And it prepared you for your pitches here.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the funny thing is when I was on my ECRM virtual trade show, people would say, what was it like being on Shark Tank? I said, well, I was so nervous that doing this virtual pitch with you, and I said, no disrespect, but this is easy compared. Yep,
it's not going to be on TV broadcast to everybody.
Right? So it did make it a lot easier to present on my virtual trade show.
That's great. That's great. So what's coming up next? What can we expect from you guys? You did touch on a couple of things, new items that you're looking to launch. Tell us more about that.
Absolutely. So I'm doing those 2 new items. Those are going to be the first 2. And then the other ones I can't mention because I have to get IP first, but it's the strapping system for a stand-up paddleboard, surfboard, or ladder, or a crazy heavy oblong object that you want to wear instead of carrying, because that's a pain in the butt.
Yep.
And then the other is for carrying boxes, even, a case of water bottles that are heavy. It's hard for a girl like me to get it up to my condo. I have to carry my water bottles like this. Well, now I can wear it and use my hip as an anchor. So that will make life a lot easier for a lot of small women like me. But, guys could use it too. Why not make their lives easier? And then I just made this. This is a special version because I'm a breast cancer survivor. This is the pink ribbon Click and Carry. So I'm going to be selling these starting in the month of October in a couple of days. And I'm donating to charity with my breast cancer Click and Carries because this is my second bout, and I feel really lucky to be here, knock wood. I hope it stays away now. I just finished my radiation in August, and my plan is to be recovered forever now. But I want to give back because I had so many amazing doctors and nurses, and it's a cause that could be your life could be saved if you get your mammograms early and often. So it's a cause close to my heart, and that's why I'm introducing the breast cancer Click and Carries. Excellent.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with both with the cause and with your company. And again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome talking to you.
It's been great talking to you, Joe. I'm thrilled you invited me. Thank you.
Take care.